What is up, Shredders? Today I thought I'd talk to you about Iced Earth's Horror Show and why it's the coolest album to listen to around Halloween time. And first of all, the music itself is stupid good. It is the most epic, rhythmically godlike sound of all time. It's power metal to its most extreme, and it's really just such a good musical album. It just really pumps you up. Second of all, every song is about a classic monster, and it is about all of these classic tales of all these classic monsters. And normally I'm not a real big lyric guy. I really kind of don't care too much about lyrics, but the lyrics are so well done in this album that it really helps me become more invested in this album, because it just brings me into that world on each song of each of these classic monsters, and it just really helps set the mood for me when it comes to Halloween. I think it's such a great album, and it has so many great tales in it that it's definitely worth listening to around Halloween time. It's so freaking good. There's never been a metal album that I just looked up to rhythmically like Horror Show. The rhythms on this album are really what started me getting into rhythm metal guitar, because I'm definitely more of a lead guy than a rhythm guy. Basically, this Everiola England video ever made and Gent got me into the whole rhythmic type of metal playing that I really like. This album, though, is just pure in-your-face rhythmic metal, and it's definitely worth listening to just to get that drive and that pump out of the chunking that goes on in this album. This album also has a lot of dynamics to it. It can go very slow, it can go very fast, it can be very off-kilter. There's a lot of different variables in this entire album. Just to listen to the whole thing unfold as it goes, and it's just really fun to listen to. The songs themselves have tales around Dracula, Frankenstein, Swamp Thing, Damien, what have you. It has a lot of those classic characters that have stood the test of time. My favorite songs on this album are definitely Jekyll and Hyde. That song is so extremely good. I love how off-kilter the whole intro is and how odd the whole clean section is, and then when it hits to the Hyde parts, everything is very distorted and just in your face and just blasting you away, and it really matches well with the lyrics and the entire tale itself. Same with Dracula. Dracula starts off very slow and then it becomes very erratic. The whole clean section is very romantic and charming the way Dracula was, and when it hits the heavy part of the song, it really starts talking about like the much darker side of Dracula, which is his bloodlust and all of that stuff. And it's really cool to see those opposing lyrics happen along with the music, and it's really just engaging to listen to. I've never really been huge into Dracula, but after hearing that song, I just feel like I've gotten closer to a lot of these classic monsters just by listening to this album. And my last favorite song off this album is The Phantom Opera Ghost, and the rhythm on that song is so good. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, I never learned a power metal song until that song, and it was just so I could figure out what the heck they were doing with the guitars. It was so tight, like even to this day when I listen to it, I'm just baffled by how tight and precise all of their rhythmic capabilities were. The Phantom Opera Ghost has this duet between the main singer, which is Matt Barlow, who is probably the best power metal singer I've ever heard in my entire life, and this other girl that sings very well, and they sing basically the tale of the Phantom Opera. It is so well done, like melodically and lyrically, that you feel like you went to a play after you've listened to this, but it was a play that just really cranked it and really made you feel something deep. And I've never been a huge Phantom Opera guy, but after listening to that album, I have a much deeper appreciation for that tale, and I highly suggest everybody who is even remotely into metal listen to Iced Earth's Horror Show. It's such a good album. It's probably in my top 10 favorite metal albums of all time. In my opinion, it's Iced Earth's best album. I don't think they've ever got an album better than that. It's just been the benchmark for me when it comes to just absolute slaying power metal. Definitely give it a listen to if you've never listened to it. It's totally worth the time.